Thanks for joining us on this busy night of news and major developments in the Tyre Nichols case. 5 Memphis police officers all fired for their involvement in the death of the 29-year-old. It all stems from a traffic stop 2 weeks ago tomorrow. Now here's a look at the now former officers. The department saying its investigation found all of them violated policy by using excessive force during that arrest and did nothing to intervene and help Nichols. Nichols, of course, died 3 days later at the hospital, his family saying he was so badly beaten they could not even recognize him. Well, since the incident, we've heard growing calls for action and justice for Nichols. Let's take you downtown now to our Stephen Pimpo. He's breaking down what we know about these firings and these officers. Stephen?
Richard, thank you. The same day that the city's official internal investigation into the incident came to an end, Police Chief CJ Davis announced that these 5 MPD officers violated multiple department policies, including excessive use of force, duty to intervene, and duty to render aid. Now, all 5 of these MPD officers had been with the force for less than 5 years. Desmond Mills Jr. served the longest, getting his badge in March of 2017. Officers Emmett Martin III and Justin Smith were brought on board 1 year later in March of 2018, and officers Tadarius Bean and Demetrius Haley have only been with MPD for a little over 2 years after joining in August of 2020. Now, their termination comes less than 2 weeks after officers tried to pull over the 29-year-old Nichols for reckless driving in the area of Rains Road and Ross Road in Hickory Hill. MPD says there was a confrontation between officers and Nichols, who tried to run away. That led to his hospitalization, and he died 3 days later. In her announcement of these firings, Police Chief CJ Davis said, quote, "The Memphis Police Department is committed to protecting and defending the rights of every citizen in our city. The egregious nature of this incident is not a reflection of the good work that our officers perform with integrity every day." Now, the next question many have is what kinds of charges these former officers may face. Now, that decision isn't up to the city. Instead, it will come from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. I spoke with them yesterday, and they told me they currently do not have a timetable for when that information might be released. Reporting live in downtown Memphis, I'm Stephen Pimpo.
Well, tonight we're also hearing from the family's attorney about the firings. Civil rights advocate Ben Crump releasing this statement. This is the first step towards achieving justice for Tyre and his family, he said, adding police must also be held accountable for robbing this man of his life and taking his son from his father. Crump promised to continue to demand transparency and accountability in this case and said he will not stop until we achieve full justice for Tyre and his family. And of course, we can't forget there is a family at the center of all of this. They've been gathering with protesters this past week calling for justice, and they want him to be remembered for more than just as the victim of this incident, but also as a young, loving man, father, and son.
Tyre was a man. Tyre was a black man. Tyre was a beautiful black man.
Our family will never be the same because of the cruel act over a traffic stop.
We will settle for nothing less than a murder charge.
Shelby County DA Steve Mulroy releasing a statement tonight following the firings. He said, although it was not much different than what he said earlier this week, he said, we're aware of the reasonable request to release video, which we are committed to doing as swiftly as possible, but we must re-emphasize the law places limits on such video release. He goes on to say, I ask for your patience as we gather all necessary information so that we do not compromise the investigation or any possible future prosecution. And tonight we're also hearing from the Memphis Police Association, the police union, saying they will not comment on these terminations, but they did add the citizens of Memphis and, more importantly, the family of Mr. Nichols deserve to know the complete account of the events leading up to his death and what may have contributed to it.